Hey Fab Girls, welcome back to my How to Look Fashionable Over 40 interview series. And I have a special treat for you today, a really, really special guest. Her name is Debra Rapoport, and she is going to share with us her top secret tips on how to look fashionable and look and feel fabulous, no matter what your age. So if you haven't heard of Debra already, in fact, I'd be surprised if you haven't. She's very well known as the star of the advanced style movement in New York that was started in New York City by Ari Seth Cohan. And there are all these amazing women looking completely flamboyant and creative and incredible. And she has been not only in the blog, but also in the movies and the books. So you may have seen her even if you're not aware of it. She also is a freelance artist. She had her own business doing flower arranging for many years. She is also an energy healer and a reflexologist, and her belief is that style is healing. Welcome, Debra. It's so wonderful to have you.
Thank you. Thank you. This is such fun, long distance.
It is amazing, hey, what modern technology can do. So, Debra, tell us a little bit about the advanced style movement and how it started and your involvement in that.
Well, I met Ari one day when he was working at a museum, and he came up to me and said that he was photographing women over 60. And then he realized he had forgotten his camera. So I whipped out my business card and I said, "Here, Ari, come on over. I'll dress up, I'll undress, and I'll even make you a vegetarian lunch." So he freaked out a little bit. And then 5 days later, I didn't hear from him. So I called him and he came over and we spent the entire day together. We photographed dressing up, we photographed me cooking, we photographed my art, and then the rest is history 9 years later.
It's amazing. And so tell us a little bit about the process of the movie. I mean, I've watched quite a few of the behind the scenes footage and information. What was it like having a whole crew come into your home and ask you about your life and getting you to tell your story?
Well, at first we started out with some intimate videos, and so that was just kind of fun. And then as those grew, Lina Pleoplite, who was the cinematographer and director, she upgraded her equipment and just started filming. And we filmed for like 2 years on the street, at home, at events. And then, of course, it took some time. It was her first major film. It took quite a bit of time for the editing process. And I think she was going to throw in the towel a few times, but we encouraged her that the film was important enough. And we're so glad we did it. It was a wonderful process. We all got to know each other quite intimately over the years.
And so what would you say has been the purpose of the advanced style movement, and what is the effect that it's had on not only women, but society as a whole?
Oh, I think it's given people the courage to be themselves at any age. I don't think it matters whether you're 40 or 80, but just self-expression is the most important thing. And, we all get dressed every day, so why not make that a morning meditation? See who you are that day and dress accordingly, not according to what the fashion magazines are saying or the fact that you're 60 years old. Flaunt your flavor, figure out who you are and go for it.
I think that's so amazing. Debra, have you always been so creative with the way that you dress and you express yourself?
Yes, I had a mother and a grandmother who encouraged it. And ever since age 3, I love dressing up. And so did my sister. And we chose not to have dolls, but we chose to dress ourselves and dance around the house and change costumes again. And it wasn't considered frivolous. It was considered being creative. So that was always allowed. And my mother always let me dress any way I wanted. It was never poo-pooed. It was never looked down upon. And, even in high school, we were considered strange because we grew up in New York and then we moved to New Jersey. And while everybody else was wearing bobby socks and saddle shoes, we were wearing Italian black gillies and black tights. So it's just a form of self-expression.
And so for you, because you grew up with being that way, it was just second nature to you.
Yes. Yeah. Now, I don't know whether living in New York helped to support it. People say if you lived in Kansas, what would you do? I don't know. I've never lived in Kansas. But if that's my inner truth, I'm going to express my inner truth no matter where I am. I hope.
You know, Deborah, I really agree with you. I mean, I definitely didn't grow in an environment where I was encouraged to just express myself however I wanted to, but clothing way that I could do so. And I can so relate to what you're saying about getting dressed up and changing outfits. I mean, I grew up where I went to school where I had to wear school uniforms. And as soon as I'd get home, I hated school uniform. It was the worst thing for me. And as soon as I'd get home, I'd have to put on some clothes and put on some makeup. And I just couldn't stand the whole idea of being like everybody else. It just completely cramped my style and didn't allow me to to express myself. So what would you say to those women who feel like they'd like to dress differently and they'd like to express themselves more, but they're afraid of either what people think, or they're afraid of what they think, or all the kind of inner dialogues that happen and outer dialogues that happen around us around this topic?
Well, first listen to that inner dialogue. And then I have a new mantra, which is the 4 T's. And the first is truth, to go inside and find your truth. We all know it's there. It may be buried deep down in the pit of your belly, but find it. And then trust it. And then after that, be tolerant, because we would want to be judgmental, put it down, not accept it, but be tolerant of that truth. And then embrace it all with tenderness. And so that you have the energy to go forth and just be who you are. It's not brain surgery, and we're not doing any harm. I mean, I say, go slowly, wear 2 scarves, then wear colorful socks. Just do it in increments and see. And I say, so if you go out in the street and people are finally laughing on you, then come on home, look in the mirror. And if you really look like a clown, take off the red nose and back off a bit. So
I
just
love
have time.
I love that, because I think that we take things so seriously. I saw a video where you were talking about matching your makeup with the outfit that you were wearing. And you're saying, well, if you're dolled up, then your makeup needs to be dolled up. And then you're saying, but you could also look a bit like a clown. And you're like, well, sometimes I do look like a clown. And so what? I think it's not the end of the world. You can wash it off. It's not going to damage you for life. It's just makeup, or it's just clothing. It doesn't make a difference.
And the same with hair. You cut it, you dye it, it grows out. Tattoos are another story. Those are permanent. But makeup, jewelry, layering, just have fun. I mean, my philosophy is ABC: assemble, build, and construct, using your body as an armature, and work with color and texture and layering. I mean, I don't understand the rule about wearing black. When I speak at the Parsons School of Design, I look out in the audience and it's a sea of black. And I say, why, you're designers. We live in a universe that has endless color. Why do you all wear black? One student raised their hand and said, well, it's kind of the school uniform. Well, does that matter? And another young woman, a Japanese woman, raised her hand, and she had platinum blonde hair. And she said, when I wear black, I feel empowered. When I wear color, I feel vulnerable. But she had a personal experience with it. She allowed herself to try it all on and see what felt right, rather than just buy into a system. To me, that doesn't make sense. We live in a free world. Let's express it while we can.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. And Debra, tell me a little bit about your hat making, because you're also a hat maker and you make these incredible hats and other adornments with recycled materials. Speak to us a little bit about that.
Well, I've been recycling for the last 50 years. When I was in graduate school, I did my dissertation on textiles related to the body that were constructed. And I used only recycled materials like berry baskets and World War II plastic tubing and weather balloons and things like that. And I just feel that there's so much in our environment that we have to open our eyes and see with our imagination what the potential is, rather than buying diamonds and gold just because they have inherent value. Let's give this stuff value. So currently, in the last 4 years, I've been making hats out of paper towels. And that just came about because the Viva paper towels were on the table and it said, do me. And they're very cloth-like. So anything cloth related, being a textile person, just speaks to me. So I just started making the elements, and then I started building them. Like this one I have on my head is just linear flat elements coiled like a basket or coiled like a clay pot, and then glued together and then embellished, either with paint or other elements. I have another hat here that came out of a workshop that I did on, it's made from steel wool
Sure.
and laundry lint. And I just love laundry lint, and I love steel wool because you can really manipulate it, and it does what you want it to do. And then this has a piece of found metal on it that I found in the streets of Mexico, and a found feather. So things just pop up in our environment that ask to be embraced and worked with, because they speak to you if you allow that. So that's basically what I do. I don't have them on now because I often have bracelets that I make also out of toilet paper rolls. I quickly go get one, or I wear scruffy pads that are made out of copper or aluminum, and they work wonderful as a cuff. I love cuffs. I love things on the arms, and I also do a series of things called bibs, boas, and breastplates, because you can't really see what I'm wearing now, but I'm wearing a necklace made from recycled Nespresso pods. So rather than these aluminum things going in the landfill.
That's amazing.
Another necklace also made out of the Viva paper towels, just like the hat, but made out of smaller elements, and just put on raw silk, a skein of raw silk. And yeah.
So Debra, I'm hearing, I mean, I definitely there's an importance on the sustainability of it. And I know from videos that I've watched of you that you're an avid thrifter. And is that also one of the ways that you encourage and work with sustainable fashion thing?
Absolutely. First of all, going into a thrift shop is a challenge. And I never spend more than $5. And the fun of it is the quest. What can I find, or what can I not find? Because there's nothing I need. So the quest is something that really is outrageous and $5 or under. Also, there's so much beautiful stuff. I mean, you go into a department store and you're going to see racks of black or navy suits. Who cares? It's not very stimulating. So I'd rather go into a thrift shop and find one-of-a-kind items. And people say, but how do you shop in a thrift shop? How do you know where to begin? I say, pass up the black, pass up the navy, pass up the white, pass up the denim, and then start from there. You can always go back to the safe items. Go for color, go for texture, go for pattern, and play with that. So thrifting is definitely, it's an entertainment as well.
I think that's amazing, because I'm completely with you when it comes to wearing too much black. I mean, I find it almost quite discouraging when I do workshops, and I often ask the group of women to put up their hand whose favorite color is black, and majority of them will actually put their hand up. I'm going, well, black is not even a color, it's a neutral, and it's fine as a base. It's okay to use as a base, but wearing lots of black can actually make you look older, and I don't think it does much for many women. I think it actually drains our faces, and it doesn't really work for us.
I agree. I think people think they look thinner in black. I mean, we went to a bar mitzvah in LA and everybody was in black. And I said to the grandmother, I said, did I not get the text that the dress code was supposed to be black today? And she laughed, because literally everyone was in black. I couldn't believe it. A bar mitzvah in sunny Southern California, where you would think in the middle of the day that people would be wearing color.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible.
It's just curious to me.
Yeah. So Debra, tell me so you've spoken a lot about your the way that you create your outfits and create these amazing things that you wear. What do you do for fun?
Well, the first part of fun of the day is just doing a quiet meditation and trying to see who I am today. And then putting an outfit together as a form of sculpture. That's my first level of fun. The other thing right now, as I get older, it's all about friendships and spending so much time socializing, and more with young people between 25 and 35, students I meet, people I meet on the street who stop me, uh, organizations that are into sustainability, like the Fashion Revolution. I'm going to speak to these students tomorrow. I'm sure I'll make some friends. And we have a lot of parties because we really like bringing people together of like mind to talk about these issues of aging, of, when Advanced Style first started, I would get emails from 25-year-olds saying, I see a wrinkle and I'm so afraid of getting old at 25. They haven't even begun to live and they're spending their energy worrying about a wrinkle on their face? Come on, get a life. So that's a very important part, the socialization, cooking and sharing food, also encouraging people to, especially young people, to think about their health when they're young. If you don't nip it in the bud by 40 and you allow things to go downhill by 60, it's that much harder to turn it around. So it's, physical exercise, it's creativity, it's socialization, and eating really good food. Like Michael Pollan says, eat real food. I say if it comes out of a box, you're better off eating the box because you're probably going to get more fiber from that than the content.
And it's so interesting, Deborah, because all of the women that I've spoken to, I mean, I've done quite a few interviews now, and every single one of them says the same thing. You have to enjoy your life and meaning and purpose in your life. You have to eat well, and you've got to stay moving. You've got to keep active in some way, form, because if we don't, there's no shortcut to staying and looking young and being healthy as we get older. There's just no shortcut to that. I'm sure they would have invented if there was one, but there isn't a shortcut.
Right. I mean, there's no shortcut in life, period. Growing up, I would never want to be a teenager again. I think those years are the hardest, but we have to go through it to find ourselves and to define what path we're going to take in life. So, you have to start early, and creativity, as we say, creativity, communication, and community, the 3 C's are very important.
And so,
we're social beings.
I agree. And I think being part of it, that's one of the things I've noticed about you also, because I've been following you for a while, is that, you love having parties, you love getting people of different ages together and having a good time. And I think that's so important, because when we engage with people of different generations across the board, it enriches our lives and enriches our perspective as well.
Absolutely. And hanging out with younger people keep us young, and it gives us the opportunity to share our life experiences.
And I think also as younger people, being willing and being open to understanding that we don't know everything and that it's important to mix with a variety of different people. I mean, I think it's so sad when I see people who they only hang around with people of their similar age and similar cultural upbringing and social economic situation. And I just think, to me, that actually makes me bored. I actually enjoy being around people who are different from me, who have different perspective, and can shed some light on things that I would never even think of.
Right. I think that's the point of traveling too, that you meet different people, you're in different culture, you eat different food, you have a whole different life experience.
So, Debra, in closing, what would be your top styling tip for women over 40?
Well, one of my favorite sayings is dress to de-stress. So you want to dress every day that's going to give you the sense of pleasure and enjoyment and take the stress out of your life. And I also say frame the face, because the first thing one sees when you walk into a room is your face. So that's why hats frame the face, bibs, boas, and breastplates and things around the neck uplift the face. With gentlemen, I say forget about the regular tie, wear a bow tie, because that's going to frame your face and add energy to up into your face. And makeup and smile. Attitude goes a long way.
I think that's the amazing, that's what's so inspirational about the women of advanced style, is that they're living their lives and they're looking fantastic and they're having fun,
Yeah.
and they don't see their age as something that's holding them back.
Right. Right.
Debra, it has been incredible to speak to you. It has been so inspirational, and thank you so much for your time. For those of you who would like to connect with Debra, I will be putting all the links down below in the description, her website, Instagram, Facebook, etc. So she's got a lot of content out there, and I highly recommend that you go and check her, and also check her out on YouTube. There's some very interesting videos of her that you will just absolutely love. So Fab Girls, if you do not want to miss any more videos like these and inspirational interviews, then be sure to subscribe to my channel and click the notification button, that little bell next to subscribe, because that way YouTube will tell you when I upload videos on Tuesdays and Fridays. Till next time.